This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, all you nerds and brainiacs? It's the Only Friends podcast. Come on, I'm trying something new here. Give me a break.
That was good. That's
it. That reaction sealed it. That's the
All
intro
right,
from
show,
now
guys.
on. Yeah.
I think you should
Congratulations.
do something different. Don't tell us every
do
time.
something
Just come up with
different
something
every
different every day. See how much you
You're
can
asking for a lot.
Come on, man. You're creative.
I mean, come on, nerds and brainiacs. This one's gonna stick for sure. You're here with the three of us on the Only Friends podcast. It's myself, Joe Rogan. We
Is he Joe Rogan?
No, I'm Joe Rogan.
Oh.
We have a young female Alex Jones here.
Hell yeah.
Popping up on the mic.
Hell yeah, brother.
Saying all kinds of shit.
I know,
man.
I'm getting roasted.
And then we have Lamanna.
Hey, what's up?
Just Lamanna.
Yeah.
What would Lamanna be? Like,
I don't know, but they're coming for his head on this monkeypox shit. They're not happy.
What did you
I
say
didn't
about
read the comments.
monkeypox?
Your head's on a stick.
His
Well, doing
head's
what?
never
What'd
on
I
a
do?
stick. No,
Well-
he's like beloved barbecue man.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I don't think people understand about a daily podcast like this. We are going to just express opinions.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
And-
I'm just talking out my ass for an hour
Yeah,
and a half every
same.
day.
I mean, we're
Just
shooting the
like,
shit
know that.
here for all of you to
We're
watch.
not researching the things that we're saying.
No.
Well, some, but it's like
some
yeah.
if we've previously,
I
but if it's
think
just
that-
coming out of nowhere.
I think a lot gets misconstrued, like, or either that or the expectations haven't been set very appropriately.
Yeah.
But like if you go back and rewatch the monkeypox conversation from yesterday, for example, I saw a couple comments that were like, really calling us ignorant and whatnot. It's just, I don't think at any point any of us were like, "This is what's happening. This is what
we
it
were
is."
Like, I don't know.
I literally said
were saying,
like
I
10
don't know.
times, like, I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So like, have you ever worked a job and spoken at the water cooler about stuff? You speculate.
Yeah, this
like,
is a water cooler podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why we talk sports.
Mm-hmm.
So in the world of sports
I
today,
understand. I understand.
now she gets it. Yeah, I mean, like I think it's too high of a bar to attempt for us to day in and day out go in depth into conversations about things that are non-poker related and expect us to be experts on it. And I don't think any of us are trying to project that in any way, shape, or form we are.
No.
Which is why we'll just, miss the mark a lot.
Yeah, so don't take anything we say as complete fact.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know already, when someone says something and you want to know if it's true, maybe just like do
Google
your own
it.
research.
Yeah, just Google
Do
it.
your own research.
This
This is not financial advice.
No,
We're just going to change this to the Do Your Own Research pod.
Not life advice.
What I can say with certainty is that young Landon Tice made a final table in Florida.
he
Congratulations, Landon.
All right, Landon.
You've done it. You've done it. He got himself on the live stream, televised event. It's
Wearing
running right
his
now.
Classic
How's he doing?
yellow cutoff.
Well, he dressed to impress.
I think that we should do. Maybe I'll have this on my channel, like a cutoff tutorial with Landon.
He
And
doesn't know.
He cuts his own shirts.
I showed him. I was the one who demonstrated
okay.
to him
So
that
would
cutoffs
you
were
like to do
no, no, because he doesn't even do it right. He's just like he's a barbarian. He just finds a shirt. He's like sleeves must go. And just like
He
tears
used
them
to
apart.
Sleeve
be
monster.
like allergic to sleeveless.
Yeah, well, understandably so. To some degree, I guess, but like, it's weird because when I was his age and younger, like I would say 16 to, I don't know, maybe present day, but for sure like 16 to 25-ish, I didn't own a gym shirt that had sleeves. Not a single one.
What's the like thoughts behind that?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. Honestly,
Show
it
your
was
guns
just
off, Sun's
yeah,
out,
like
guns
you're
out.
feeling good, or
no. I
is
think
it the sweat?
somewhat. It's a little.
Because I feel like that.
It's a little restricting. But also I just think I won't pretend to think that I am in line with 22-year-old pop culture fashion right now. I don't know what it is, but I know that like when I was that age,
Yeah.
everybody just wore cuts.
Yeah, I don't think it's really like trendy right now.
Michelle hates those shirts. She's like, why does I think you had like you wore one of those, just like it looks like a gym shirt essentially, like to like an event at the World Series this summer, and she's like, he wore that shirt to go play in. I was just like,
What the fuck? Like
yeah,
some
he's
sort of
comfortable.
prestigious fucking event that I'm supposed to dress to the nines for.
Like I don't know why. Like she just hates those cutoff shirts so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the cutoff thing. But yeah, I don't think it's I'm trying to think what is trendy for 22-year-old males right now. I think it's just like painting their nails.
Yeah, that's the polar opposite of like what athletes were doing.
Yeah.
When
Whatever the polar opposite of 90s athletes is what's trendy now for
Sure.
young
I
men.
think for us, we got a lot of free shit as athletes. Like we got a lot of free t-shirts. They were always oversized and they were always trash material. So you cut the sleeves off. But there was a right and wrong way to do it. So you definitely never just like go to the arm seam and cut it off at the seams and call it a day. Like the
You have to cut it all the way down.
Right, but that's
Dolak knows.
Right.
so-
Yes, Dolak definitely does
That's
exactly.
so far down.
That's what I think. That's what Michelle hates about it. She's like, why do they have to like
Because
just
you
go
see
all the
their
way down?
whole nipple
Yeah, and it's just
inside of their
right.
body.
Yeah,
No, you
exactly.
don't. You don't see the nipple.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you,
you
you
do. I
do
see
cut
the
it
nipple.
like
see nipple.
you do cut it like the nipple line. Like
You see the nipple and it swings around and you see the nipple
yeah,
coming out.
it's loose fitting. Like if you turn the
Whenever you
wrong
wear
way.
those, there's
Dolaks are
always
all the
people
way
going,
down, like,
Berkey nip slip incoming.
Yep.
Berkey nip slip. It almost came out. They're like sweating your nipple.
It doesn't though. It doesn't. It stays right where it belongs.
You wear fashion tape to keep it.
Yeah, you got me. No, I think it's like it was always a summer thing. You're outside, especially like where we were from, where it's not like there was a beach or a lot of pools where you were just gonna be shirtless a lot.
Right.
We were construction workers and grass mowers. So you wore a shirt that was as little of a shirt as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever cut the sleeves off
yeah,
of
well,
one of my
you-
shirts in my entire life.
You're preppy.
I was a preppy, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have salmon shorts?
Damn it, no.
I have a pair of salmon shorts.
you know,
I haven't. You know what?
khakis, button down.
They were good in theory. I bought them. They look great if I decide to like go salmon shorts, black polo, but I'll just never wear that outfit.
Yeah. They're tough to pull off.
Honestly, they're not in the sense that like they match a lot.
Yeah.
Like they match a lot of dark
Right,
tops.
but they're just so closely tied with douche
yeah.
that it's hard to.
They're very Miami. I also have a
They're
pair
very
of
Miami / Connecticut.
yeah. Well, way two totally different styles there. Like
Yeah.
Miami, you're rocking like a tropical patterned
Right.
button down, where like Connecticut,
A
you
white
have
Ralph Lauren.
yeah,
polo
you have like a Ralph Lauren
Sperry's.
polo with a sweater tied around
Uh-huh.
your neck.
There
Yeah.
it is. There's Berkey's
Yeah.
look right there.
There it is.
Yeah, no, mine are much more salmon. It's more like the guy with the blue. Yeah, that's pretty close. I actually might, I legit might own that exact outfit, but I'm not skinny enough. See, the thing is, like, that guy is Starvin' Marvin skinny. I have those pants.
Starvin' Marvin. Hey, he's got a little
Skinny.
calf
I
definition.
have them in pants as well. The pants are a lot easier to pull off. But yeah, like when you're a broad body type like me, this just isn't a good look.
Thank you, Charlie. $10 from Charlie.
My man.
All right, Charlie. Was it my dog? My dog's name's Charlie.
Yeah.
Shout out to
It's-
Charlie.
it's
He
Brian's
says, happy to
dog.
be here live. We're happy to have you,
Yeah,
my man.
thanks, Charlie.
Thanks for being here. That's the thing that I've come to really learn the hard way. Believe it or not, like I've always paid very close attention to fashion trends, and I
Yeah.
think I have a reasonable eye for like what goes well together.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's very easy to be in the store and recognize that like, oh, this top would look great with these pants or these shorts and like these shoes, and this whole outfit comes together really well.
Right.
But what you don't recognize in the moment is this is for small people. Like this entire outfit is built for people who have very small thighs,
Right.
who have like very tapered skinny upper body to them. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, I'm disproportionate. I have massive thighs. My torso is 1.5 times the length of my legs.
Right. So you should just dress like The Rock.
To some degree, like, all jokes aside, when he like classes it up,
Yeah.
his style would fit me a lot better than like a Ralph Lauren model.
Yeah, well,
Right.
because they're also like the slim cut stuff, and their
Yep.
legs are usually really thin.
Yeah, I can't wear like skinny ties.
Yeah.
I can't wear like slim fit stuff like that. Like big thighs and skinny ties, bad combo. Very,
Big
very
thighs
bad
and
combo.
Skinny ties.
Yeah.
If you got big thighs, don't wear those skinny ties.
I have to wear, I have to go power knot. Like I have to go
Yeah.
like the double Windsor
Right.
with the spread collar to make my neck actually look full because I have the skinniest goddamn
Well,
neck
to be,
ever.
I will say, I think a bigger guy with skinny tie is better than a small guy with big tie.
Yeah, because small guy with big tie is like really
You look
putting out
like you're
small dick
playing
energy.
Dress up.
Yeah, he's really
Yeah.
overcompensating there.
Yeah.
But I mean, just get the visual in your head of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson,
With a skinny tie on?
with like a bolo.
I don't hate it.
Come on.
I don't hate it. I would much prefer that over a super
It's
skinny
legitimately
guy
like
with-
putting a shoelace around his
Yeah.
neck.
Remember Merrill Hodge had the biggest
Oh
knot?
yeah, Merrill Hodge had the
That was-
classiest double Windsor you've ever seen in your entire life.
It was like his whole neck, though. It was like the giant, like the triangle was like this.
Well,
big.
he always had to wear a sport coat. So the thing with tying a double Windsor is that it takes up a lot of the material of the tie.
Right.
And what ultimately ends up happening that nobody ever sees because you always wear a jacket or a vest
Vest.
over
You
it.
have to wear a vest.
Yeah, it's
The tie
super
ends
short.
right-
It's
yeah,
like to
yeah,
here.
it ends right there, and then
Oh my God.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, the look is fantastic. It's a real power knot. But the reality of the situation is you have a dysfunctional tie on your
Wow.
hands. Yeah, so like, you're forced to layer up. You're not going to be enjoying yourself. I always find it comical when you see the guy with the big double Windsor with it kind of loosened and the collar undone, like he's at a wedding ready to have a good time, but he still has the vest fully on.
yeah. That's what I was
Wow,
saying.
so
Like
that's
you're
why.
at
Yeah.
a wedding, right? And you're just looking so good, and then you meet this girl, and you hook up, and then you take off the
Your
vest,
tie is
and you got
just
this tiny little. What is that? Oh man.
It's like no.
Had room,
leave
Bob.
the tie.
Leave the short tie.
Leave the tie.
Speaking of fashion, look at this nice hoodie that
It
Melissa's
is a nice
sporting right now.
quality, actually.
Isn't that? It's nice.
very nice
Very,
quality?
very soft. If you
Oh, I
want
did-
one of
I
those, you can
spilled
go to
some coffee on it.
academy.software.io.
That's right.
I already
Get in
spilled
there.
Click on
coffee
the merch
it.
tab. Get one for yourself.
Get in there,
Yeah.
LaManna. Plug
Yeah.
it away.
I've,
Hey,
I've already
gotta do it,
spilled
man.
coffee on it.
Got to keep
so-
these lights
Well,
on.
Of course you did. It's white. You weren't going to make it the day.
Yeah, no, I didn't make it. That's okay.
Spill coffee on it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Coffee's tough.
Coffee's tough. It gets everywhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they put the sippy lid on there for you little kids, and somehow that
No, they're-
doesn't even do it.
They're trying to, get rid of straws. So.
I actually now have come to prefer it without the straw.
Same. These
I
these
used
little
to
lids
hate
are,
it,
are
but
good. Yeah.
they're converting me. I mean, in Europe they don't really use straws.
No.
I don't think.
Conrad said he drinks everything with a straw.
He
Like,
does.
He puts
He
a
does.
straw into a can of Coke.
Yes,
It's
he does.
honestly, I know that it's something that I just shouldn't care about at all. But he buys these silicone straws that constantly find themselves like in the dishwasher or in the sink or whatever, and it's obnoxious two ways. One, it's this hose. It's a fucking hose, is what it is. That he sticks in his cans of pop, and like won't drink the pop without the fucking straw.
Well, he usually leaves half of it.
That's
anyway.
the second part that is so infuriating.
Yeah.
Is that not only is this straw obnoxiously strewn about, but the can of pop is never finished.
No, and it was really bad. This summer, the flies are not as bad as they were last summer. Last summer, the flies were so bad, and I really think it's because he was leaving half-open cans of Pepsi.
He's
on
never
the counter.
completed a can of anything.
No.
And he's never just taken the can and said, "Okay, I'm done with this," and then dumped it out and then threw
No.
it away.
No,
Oh, God,
it
no.
stays on the
It's just-
counter with the straw in it, half full.
When
Yeah.
we run academies here, I'm just going around
With
half
the
my
hose.
day
Let's
is
be clear.
spent picking up Conrad's half-empty cans of pop.
Shout out to Salem. Hit us with a $4.99. He said, "How many holes does a straw have?"
2.
One.
Well, one
Oh.
technically.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, it has 2 openings, 1
Yeah.
hole.
Openings, one
Correct.
hole, yep.
It's well, never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
canceled.
Never
No,
mind.
there's nothing that has 2 openings, 1 hole. It shouldn't. It shouldn't have that.
Well, if
I
you go
need to see
far
a
enough.
doctor.
Jeez.
If you
Even
go
if you
far
go
enough.
far enough, up to your, you'd have to do a lot of navigating. to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
it be
There's a
like
lot of
that.
navigating for sure.
Yeah.
Your intestines have 1 hole.
Yeah, but your intestines doesn't connect to your front.
Hey, let's not turn this into an anatomy thing.
I mean, you could, if somebody had something going on that made it so that wall had a little door in it, then maybe you would have.
So how's Landon doing in the?
Landon came in 6 of 7.
Okay.
There was a double elimination early, getting them down to 5. There was a tweet put out by Ignition showing Landon opening the queen 6 off
Why did they choose that
under the gun
photo?
1. I suspected that the graphics were wrong. Landon did confirm. He actually had queens in this spot, which is unfortunate because we were all screaming for a fold on the flop. But in reality, we wanted him to jam. If you guys don't want spoilers, mute the stream right now. I'm giving you 5 seconds to mute the stream. If you don't
Everyone
want the
in chat
spoiler
already
of where
spoiled it
Landon
anyway.
finished, okay. Landon, unfortunately, finished in 5th place for 22K. He is happy, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Making these final
He's always
tables.
happy.
Like, I'm too privileged or too traumatized or too something in between. I wouldn't even fucking play this tournament. Like
Why?
a 2200 turbo with 100K up top would just
Yeah.
not motivate me at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to get lucky in that spot.
But Landon just, he plays for the glory, man.
He truly
Actually,
does.
yeah.
He truly does because he sold for this tournament. And it's like, that's even for sure like something. There's no way I would play for less than all of myself in this particular spot.
He couldn't care less what first is or.
To be fair, Landon has
just
the
wants to
best
win.
long-term view I've ever seen of somebody his age.
Yeah.
And I was speaking about this with somebody not that long ago, but it's almost to his detriment because he has no sense of urgency to get the money now.
He has a super abundant mindset.
Yeah.
Which is like people work so hard to try and get that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like really remarkable. It hurts him sometimes because like sometimes he'll dilute his own value a little bit too much. But in general, it's a really impressive thing for somebody his age because it really does allow him to just think strategically in all of the spots, not get emotionally invested in outcomes that he can't control. Honestly, like I'm jealous in a lot of ways, like in so many ways that apply to poker and career and life. I have a scarcity mindset, and always in the worst kind of way. Like somehow whenever I'm flush, I have like a bit more of an abundance mindset, but in a way where I'm apathetic. Like I guess Landon's probably apathetic to outcomes, but I'm apathetic in a way that makes me feel like I'm trying less hard.
Yeah.
Right? And that's probably not true. I probably try the same, but I think the emotional investment encourages me more to always scrutinize every single decision. So I think that there's like some strategic spots where I can get a little bit lazy if I'm in an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, whatever. This is 0 EV. Just fucking run it and always be punished because nothing that you deem in real time to be 0 EV is ever actually 0 EV. Like you're almost certainly taking a bath in a spot that like your scarcity mindset knows better.
Yeah.
Your scarcity mindset knows that Joe doesn't have enough goddamn bluffs ever.
Yes.
And this is
that's just human nature, right?
Yeah,
Just, like,
probably.
to be-
Yeah, it's weird because like the idea of a scarcity mindset, abundancy mindset usually is directly correlated to risk reward and being risk averse versus being a risk taker. I've always been very much in the camp of being a risk taker, but I also like adhere to some sort of scarcity mindset. So it's weird because like I'll just funnel all my risk into poker due to the fact that I feel knowledgeable and feel like I'm a little bit more in control, and then take all the risk off the table in other aspects of life.
Yeah, but that doesn't really seem that true. I mean, you were doing the NFTs and the crypto and...
Yeah, but I was trusting people that I thought were very sharp.
Right, that's true.
I would have never done it on my own.
Right.
I would have never just like bought an ape.
Yeah.
And just guessed. Like even just browsing. I remember when the NFTs were like at peak. I was just even like browsing, trying to figure out how the system was working and like trends that I could find. And I just didn't trust anything that I observed.
Yeah.
So it was just like, why don't I find somebody who's putting in more effort than me and is relatively sharp? See what they can do. Easier to be a financier than it is to be an expert on everything.
That's true.
Or anything.
Well, that's just like probably smart delegating.
Yeah, I think that that's something that I probably learned the hard way too. Where I may have had a little bit more gamble outside of poker in me younger, but it was more so because it was driven by the scarcity mindset, right? Like I so desperately wanted to get over certain hurdles to a point where I felt secure that it was just like, well, this thing seems like it's new and shiny and soft and could potentially have a big return. Let's fire. I did that with DFS. And honestly, like, I think that was probably reasonable. I basically broke even, but it became clear after like a year and a half of doing it that
I wasn't there.
I wasn't sharp enough.
Yeah. Right.
Like I could find edges, but they were meager.
Yeah. Like when we got into it, I think we thought that we were better than what we were.
Well,
we had a bigger
according to the market, it was probably fine.
Yeah. Maybe at the time.
Because the market was so soft.
Right.
But it was very clear that I was just investing in edges that were pretty common.
Yeah.
Right. It would be like trying to play perfectly pre-flop now. It's like, sure, that's good. You should do that, but everybody should do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not a big secret.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to negate a negative edge more so than actually gain you an edge.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the way that I was approaching DFS at the time. It was just like, oh, okay, well, like we see correlations between quarterback and wideout. Like let's stack and let's do these things. And it's, you know, maybe there was a lot of the field that wasn't doing that, and that's why it was dumb money and there was money to be made. But it became very, very clear after like a year of doing it. It was like, I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't translate into other sports either. NFL was easy because it was once a week and you had 6 days to prep and stuff like that. Baseball, I knew better and would just immediately get overwhelmed by how much statistical information and data points were out there.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know how to separate the signal from the noise here.
Right.
And I'm not going to figure it out
And it's
overnight.
every day and it's changing. And
Yeah.
Well, the way you separate the signal from the noise is by looking at their face
Sure.
Yes.
and then
Right.
just sort of reading the
Who
vibe.
needs a data analyst whenever you have a medium at your hands at all times?
It's more of a, you know, I wouldn't say medium. They're alive.
You're a field player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a field player.
Yeah. Really catch a feel.
Yeah.
What else do we have to talk about? Oh, follow up to yesterday's breaking news announcement with the shooting outside of Hustler Casino. There is no follow up. Strangest thing, I really expected there to be more information slowly leaking out about this. But I guess like maybe the assumption was high for me because this is a big event in my mind.
Yeah.
But in the grand scope of news, it's just not, I guess.
Yeah, it happens.
Right. Like if this didn't happen at Hustler Casino, I guess I would just chalk it up to another day in the life of crime.
Right.
So I think all that we know as of now is that 2 people were shot and taken to the hospital, and there has been no one apprehended. They were saying yesterday that they thought the suspect was at the local Moose Club or whatever was next door, but they did a thorough search and found nothing.
Moose Club.
I feel like the casinos, they just have a knack for like sweeping these kind of things under the rug too. Maybe
I mean, it's bad
maybe
pub.
it's not, but it just seems like these things happen and it's just like,
Well, we
don't
thought
want any bad press.
we thought that the Vegas strip thing was going to be national news for sure.
I couldn't believe that there was no. I mean, people were stampeding over each other.
Yeah.
There was. I mean, nobody died. Thankfully.
And there was never any follow up to that either.
It was just like half the strip was in a panic that there was a shooter on the loose, and there was mayhem through all the casinos, and nobody said anything about it. There was like one little blurb on like the local news, and that's it. You didn't even think like the local news would cover it a lot, but it was just.
I have some breaking information.
Oh boy!
So, a very reputable source said they heard it was an Amish guy.
What?
It was an Amish guy.
See, this is why.
I was like, I'm not doing it.
This is why people take you seriously.
Just can you imagine? He's like going in with the horse and
trying
buggy.
to cue Guapo up for something, and Guapo's just giving it the
Well, because there's a lot of things at play here. So the inside joke is that Conrad looks like a rabbi whenever he like curls his hair a certain way. And Melissa made a Photoshop of Conrad's face on a rabbi, which now has somehow spun into...
No, someone actually said they thought it was an Amish guy, and I thought that was funny. But yeah, obviously there's a difference between a rabbi and an Amish person.
Very, very big difference. Yes.
It's a bit of a difference. In any event, we are not going to queue up said anti-Semitic...
Is it? Or is it a celebration of...
I don't know. I really don't know.
Either.
I don't know. And since I don't know, I don't want to put it on the air.
Yep.
I'll tweet it. It's fine. You guys can check my Twitter later.
But yeah, so nobody has been apprehended for the hustler. There was a shooting last night also at the Mirage in Las Vegas. One of the hotel rooms, I guess there was some sort of, I don't know if it was domestic or what the case was, but 2 people were shot, 1 died, or maybe 3 people were shot and 1 died. The suspect, I think, is still... Oh, no, actually, I think I read right before we went on that the suspect was apprehended.
Oh, they were?
But he was at large for quite some period of time. Basically, the only details that were given were that the people involved knew each other. So this wasn't like some coordinated event. It wasn't anything for people to be in a panic with or over. This is the part where I think like casinos do a really good job of sweeping this stuff under the rug. Do you know how many people like kill themselves in Las Vegas casinos?
No, I don't. But
I mean, I don't have a statistic, but it's so much more common than we think.
Really? Because they gamble a lot, or?
I'm not sure. I hear there's like a lot of stories over the last decade or so that kind of never made national news of people just like committing suicide in casinos, jumping out of parking garages. What's that?
Like on vacation?
No, usually it's trouble gamblers. Yeah. People jumping off of like parking garage roofs, people jumping out of windows. There was one notable one, this must have been 5 or 6 years ago, where this guy went to, I think it was like the M buffet, literally every single day. And something happened where he either got bad service or he was creepy to the service or they stopped. So there was something
Maybe he ran
about
out of comp points or something.
There was some correlation between the buffet, this man, his behavior, and him leaving a suicide note. Maybe he left the suicide note at the buffet, something like that. But he ultimately ended up like killing himself on property. Wow. And it was only kind of known amongst, like it was like folklore amongst the gambling community in Vegas, where we had all heard about it because like he was somewhat known in the gambling community or whatever. But yeah, like never made the stage of national, and that's, people kill themselves all the time. Like it's not, I guess, national news when it comes to that stuff. In my head though, because it's Vegas, I would think that it would always be amplified, right? Like it feels like more of a story.
Bad for tourism.
Yes, that's true.
Very bad for tourism. Very
that's
bad
true.
for.
It just seems more interesting at a national level.
Yeah, I mean that happens like. It's not really national news when it happens at colleges and stuff.
That's true.
Like the NYU library has like suicide barriers on the library. In the library.
That is true. I wonder how much coordination there actually is between these businesses and news outlets, because it feels like,
I mean, I don't know, but you would think it would have to be.
Yeah, because it feels like telling those stories is at a minimum meaningful to prevention, but maybe not. Maybe the idea is that like by telling the stories, it actually amplifies.
Well, that's what they say about like shootings.
Yeah, but look at mainstream media with shootings.
Really,
like,
yeah.
If ever we were going to put something, put a dampening on something, like it should be that.
Yeah.
Always, it's like some sort of weird glorification of like what's taking place.
I know, and that's like always been a thing that they've said is what leads to copycat killers.
Right.
Yeah, it's like these, like, I mean,
yeah, you know, there. That's not shocking to me.
Oh,
wow,
Apple
really?
of America. Wow, there you go. I mean, so there's some coverage.
What percentage
of, it there,
of that do you think is like problem gamblers?
Has to be high.
A lot,
I mean, it's
right?
not a coincidence that it's Las Vegas.
Like the casinos are the lifeblood of this city, right? So it's like any bad press hurts the city, I guess. So I think like that's an easy way for, you know, the casinos to say, hey, you know, we're keeping the city alive.
Right.
The more bad press we get, it's bad for the city, and then
it's weird. I'm very much of the mind that anything that troubles or plagues society is much better being spoken about in an open forum. Like I think conversations just lead to more resolve and better planning moving ahead. But I understand where incentives like just don't ever align. It's just strange to me that I mean, you know, that's kind of the other thing is that like I don't know enough of the inner workings of mainstream media, and it's not that difficult to assume that there's a lot of manipulation taking place there. It's just very weird to me at like how that happens in the back channels.
Yeah.
Right. Like obviously we don't know.
Yeah.
But like we have some idea. Like Adelstein bought, I think, a local newspaper here.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Journal
Sun maybe or Journal Review.
Yeah. Journal, yeah.
So like I guess like that's just how it happens. You just privatize mainstream media.
Yeah.
And you know, having been a big fan of the show Newsroom on HBO, there was a little bit of that worked into the plot line, kind of understood. Like Sorkin did a good job of conveying how big of a disconnect there was between the people who were trying to do honest journalism and the figureheads that owned the actual press outlet and were trying to control the messaging a little bit. But I don't know, man. It's all fascinating to me. I never in a million years thought that I would be interested in the business of media, but as we've kind of taken that lean a little bit in the poker sphere, it's so compelling to me to be kind of a storyteller, to, you know, I know we started the show with like a preface of, hey, this is just kind of for shits and giggles, and we're just kind of spouting off our own opinion and stuff like that. But there is a high level of interest to being a truth teller and to being somebody who messages to the general populace in a way that's objective, or as objective as we can possibly be.
Yeah.
But I also just see like so many problems with trying to be that town crier.
It's hard.
You know, it's just the incentives just don't align. The money is the hush money seems to be greater than the money for doing a good job. We haven't been
offered any hush money though.
No, but that would be great.
Yeah, if you guys
if anybody wants us to shut up about something,
if you guys want to listen, if you guys want us to shut up, you better pay us.
Yeah, exactly. If we're talking about something that you don't like, just send us a super chat and we'll shut up about it and change the subject.
That'd be really great if we started just charging for subject changes. Like somebody hits us with a $10 super chat, we're like, all right, we're off on the media.
It's like you guys are talking about camping in the woods again. All right, let's move on. Here's $5.
Okay, move on from Berkey's survival skills. $100 super chat. No more for the week.
I will make one correction from yesterday that I made a mistake on. I saw a graphic.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the snake.
No, I do agree that you're right now. I didn't know that, but we were having a totally different conversation, which is what's
so nice.
annoying.
No, just stop right there. Stop where you're at.
I'm going to pull up the fucking clip from when it actually took place.
Stop right there.
Shout out to Doug R. He says $10 for the slots. We'll make sure Landon gets it for whatever.
Nice, thank you.
He's doing his prop.
We'll make him film it for you, Doug.
Right. No, I saw a graphic from the Hustler stream of what I thought was VPIP, but it was actually PFR. So the 4 people in single digits it actually ended up being 3. It was Israeli, Ron, Sashimi, and Nick. They just weren't raising pre-flop, apparently. They were doing a bunch of calling. So the VPIPs were actually substantially higher, but there was still a pretty big disconnect between guys like Wesley, Garrett, and Andy versus like Sashimi, Nick, and Israeli Ron.
Yeah.
And also like VPIP's not, we put a big emphasis on it because it's the number that people know the most, but PFR is pretty indicative of like what's taking place, right? So if your VPIP is 2 or 3x your PFR, you're still in it.
Yes.
Right? You're just you're trying to hit bingo a little bit more.
Yeah.
You're giving maybe some loose action through calls, but
most likely if you're giving loose action through calls only, you're probably going to be tight post flop too.
Yes, correct.
So you're not really giving action.
I kind of busted Double M's chops a little bit yesterday and said that like he can lean nitty. That's what I meant. He plays hands. Like don't get me wrong, he's in there, but he's just very, very, very tight post.
Yeah. Which
is obviously reflective of buying in to cover the table usually. Shout out to my man Steezy. Hit us with a $10 super chat. He said, moving to Vegas at an apartment complex on Twain and Arville. You don't want to be there. He said, right down from Palms. I'll tell you right now, that's not the area that you want to be, unless you're looking to purchase some ladies of the night walking the street. Had to stay at a motel the first 2 weeks. Neighbor did it. Did it. I didn't know what it was referring to until I read the rest of the sentence. Somehow off 2 stories, third day. Welcome to Vegas.
2 stories.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Ambitious.
I don't want to get into the semantics of killing yourself,
that's
but like,
ambitious.
Yeah, you're gonna walk away from that one a lot.
Yeah.
High
percentage
and be
of
worse
walk
for
away
wear.
hurt.
Or maybe not walk away but live.
Yeah.
Which is even worse.
Away.
Man, that reminds me. So crazy. We think about like just the random chance happenings in life, and I bring this up with my nephew a lot because him and my sister both have very much adopted this mindset of like live fast, die young kind of thing. And for as long as I can remember, I've been preaching to both of them, like you're not gonna die. That's the problem.
That's the problem. Well, you're not gonna die.
I can get behind the mindset if like
you're living a very dangerous life.
Yeah, if you're living a dangerous life and you do die young, like taking a absorbent risk on it, it's like, okay, like that was your choice of how you wanted to live your life. But what I keep trying to tell them is like, humans are resilient. You're not going to fucking die. You're just going to suffer for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And my sister's already going through it. She's in her mid-30s. She can barely stand up. She can barely walk. Like her body is just beat to shit.
What did she do to her body?
Well, she had my nephew young, and in the process, like, had a problem with her hips and back.
Okay.
So she had like a small fracture of her lower lumbar, and then got bad medical advice, had it fused, and like that led to a whole host of problems as well.
That fusion is no joke.
Yeah, it fucked her up bad. It was the worst thing that they could have done, especially at that age. It was like 22 they did it for her. She's still growing.
Right.
But even that aside, for a long period of time, she just like wasn't in good health because she had a very fuck it mentality. She smoked, she drank, she did drugs of some sort, like nothing hard, but like, she experimented a lot.
Yeah.
And it was all this mindset of like, oh, whatever, I don't care if I'm dead at 40. It's like, yeah, I get it, but you're not going to be fucking dead at 40.
You're just going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah, you're going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah,
you're going to be
that's a good
miserable. And you're
point.
going to need to be taken care of. And that's kind of precisely what's happening. And my nephew's like a lot more straight edge. He doesn't really do a lot of the experimenting when it comes to substance and things like that. But he does stupid shit like driving 160 down the freeway on a bike. And to be fair, like you'll die if you wreck. So like in that instance, you're right. You'll live fast and die young in that one particular spot.
But he's also 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and he'll just stop driving.
That's not uncharacteristic.
Right. He'll just stop driving like a maniac at some point.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the other quote unquote risks he take are just like so unnecessary and not the types that will lead to death, but like the type that might lead to, paralysis or something fucking miserable where you're gonna learn a hard life lesson and be worse for wear afterwards.
If you're gonna take the exorbitant risk, then at least do something that maybe you could get super rich.
Right.
Yeah, take
exactly.
financial risk.
Yeah, financial
exactly.
risk. Yeah.
Yeah, use the
Just
live
channel
fast,
it
die
all
young.
into financial risk.
Right, exactly.
Especially when you're young.
Yes.
That was how I treated life. Live fast, die young was my financial portfolio.
Yeah.
It's like by dying, I mean I'm gonna have to move back home and fucking live off welfare for
and
a little
then
while.
do it again.
Right, yeah, then rinse repeat.
Until it works. And then
But the reason
good.
why that popped in my head is there were a couple instances that came to mind that are just such random acts of chance, and they become such life-altering events. The first being when I was in college. My roommate was friends with this high school soccer coach who was paralyzed, and when getting the backstory of like how it happened, he kicked a game-winning goal and dove headfirst into a mud puddle. And like hit the wrong angle.
Oh no.
And fractured his fucking spine and was just quadriplegic for the rest of life.
Oh my god.
And it's just like how ridiculous. And like I think about stuff like that. Like I dive into the shallow end of a pool all the time because you really have to hit it at the wrong angle with your hands not outstretched in order for anything bad to happen. But like you start to think of like the Perkins mindset of like, okay, let me calculate my risk of this. If I own a motorcycle, I'm going to sustain injury X. Y percentage more often, and I'm going to die.
Is that what he says in his book? Stuff like that?
Yeah, he talks a lot about like risk profiles. And he tweets about this kind of stuff as well. So it's just like, how much pleasure am I deriving compared to the risk of the worst case that I'm adding in?
Yeah.
And, a lot of times whenever you're forced to start thinking statistically like that, you just pull some of the unnecessary risk off of the table. Like, personally, like I'll just never skydive. I know the risk of dying is low, but I also know that like when there's failure, you die.
Yeah, and then like the positive from it isn't really worth that.
Yeah,
Funny because I've always wanted to like go skydiving, but I just never did. And the older I get, the less
I know. I'm
like
glad
desire
I went when
I had to do it.
Like I went when I was 21 or 20, and I'm glad I did it then because like now I'm just.
And then
like,
once in a while you'll hear
you know.
like a story where somebody died or the chute didn't open or something happened. You're like,
tangled,
yeah,
then
why would
they're
I
in the
do
death
that?
Spiral. And
Right.
Funny, the older I get, the more I want to skydive.
Well, that also that.
but
could
I'm
be
just
true.
rooting
Like,
for the
it's like,
chute not to open.
Because what?
I'm just rooting for the chute not to open.
Damn it, man.
Well, like there's no nobility in killing yourself, but like
that's what you have a backup shoot for.
I don't want
that one
that
to not open either. They
I
forgot
cut it.
that one.
Yeah, they just
you
forgot
cut it. Your tandem person's like, dude, what the fuck?
I want to die with honor. I want there to be a story told about me.
You have a tandem person connected to you, so you're killing
well,
them.
yeah, I want to imagine that I just like train myself up to going like solo, and then suddenly pack my own chute, and just like, well, that was it.
Yeah. Like, wait, you don't have a chute on. I know.
See ya! I land in the top of the tree and just like break my legs. Like, God damn it!
You ran so bad.
This is how I find out that like I'm actually I run better than average in life in all aspects.
Well, you saying that made me think that I must run good because I fell straight onto my head with my body going the other way, and my whole neck like was making huge noises, and I was like, I died, but I didn't. I just.
Wait,
like,
how
didn't even
far was
break
the
a bone.
fall?
Probably 6 feet, like from a horse.
Oh, you were.
So I slid off a horse's neck off the front and then straight.
You were
onto
riding
my
it
head.
like stopped and you went
yeah,
flying forward.
and then I like fell straight onto my head, with my body going the other way.
That is lucky.
Were you young?
You did.
I was
sustained more of an injury.
17. And yeah, I went to the hospital. I had a concussion.
That's crazy.
My helmet broke, like it was shattered.
Yeah, that's never a good sign.
Yeah, but I didn't break a bone or anything.
That's
so
wild.
That is lucky.
I ran really good.
Yeah.
But I heard the noise in my neck,
Yeah,
and
you
I
would
was
think
like,
you would-
oh, I died. So that's cool. Like I'm dead right now.
I'm trying to think if I've had moments. I feel like I have, but then again, my memory doesn't serve me where I don't know if it was like a dream I had or if it was actually like something I experienced, where it's so traumatic in the exact moment that it's happening, you like have a conscious thought of, so this is death.
Yeah, I've had, I mean, that one wasn't, I wouldn't consider like a near-death experience because I was very conscious for the whole thing. But I have had one when I was like 10, and that was actually like full-on near-death experience where everything went white. And I was like, well, I guess I don't live the rest of my life anymore. Like it was just a very like matter-of-fact feeling of like, okay, well, that's it.
Yeah.
It was just done.
So do you remember when we were in Greg's car coming back from
I was
the airport?
asleep.
Yeah, so we were, I think we had a trip to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
When we flew out of, this is when we were all living in Erie still, and went to Vegas, flew out of Cleveland. So we were driving back from Cleveland to Erie, and it was, dead of winter, and we're in Greg's little Civic, and we just hit a patch of ice right on the expressway. I mean, we're going 65 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And the car, he just loses control of the car, and it just starts spinning.
Oh my
It's
God.
just- and it's just like, oh God, like this is it. Like, and somehow we just like spun down into the like embankment or whatever you want to call it, like
Yeah,
the median.
the median in
Yeah,
between.
and it was just like a little bit
But
of
you
a.
were sleeping through
right.
this?
I was sleeping in the back seat. I woke up
Midway through it?
maybe by turn 2.
Oh.
I mean, we donutted it
What a
into
way
the.
to wake up.
It was wild. I like woke up and immediately grabbed the headrest of the seat in front of me because I was in the
Wow.
back seat. And yeah, we probably spun 4 or 5 times before just like ending up in the
Were there other
embankment.
cars
There were-
around you?
Yes, and there were other cars that like hit the ice too, and were like
Oh my gosh.
like out of control. So somehow we didn't hit any cars. There was like a bridge, whatever you call
Like
it,
an overpass.
Yeah, an overpass, not that far ahead. So if it would have happened a little bit further down the road, we could have smashed into the side of
Right.
that, and so it was somehow we didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
We went down into the banquet, just did a couple donuts and stopped, and nothing happened.
Wow.
Just like it was,
that
that was
sometimes it's like you realize how lucky you are in an unlucky circumstance.
exactly right. Yeah, it's like it's unlucky for this.
I mean,
to happen, but you're
they have me to thank. I'm pretty sure on that Vegas trip, I lost my entire bankroll. So it was probably just, the world balancing things out.
out.
Right. Like
That
I had
was
to
nice of you to do
Yeah,
that.
I had to sacrifice that 10K in order to make sure we lived on the way home.
Yeah, that was nice.
Small
of you.
price to pay.
10K for however many lives.
Yeah.
It's like a bargain.
And we had Brandon in the car, which is he's notorious for being in accidents. So it's like
I can't even imagine like the pent up trauma that he has having been through like 2 horrid car crashes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's our friend from college or whatever, and like was in just like 2 absolute destructive crashes. One, he got hit by a drunk driver. The other one, he either hydroplaned during a rainstorm or hit ice during a snowstorm. But like he got fucked up, like scars all over the place, and totally damaged totaled both cars or whatever. It was like, yeah, having him in the car would just seemingly signify that like we were really up shit creek. But luckily, I was there.
Yep.
I was the angel on
savior.
everyone's shoulder.
Thanks, Berkey. Appreciate that.
Oh man, fun times.
So buckle up, kids.
Yeah, wear a seatbelt. 2 big things going on in the poker world that were announced today. First is that the high stakes duel is back on PokerGo.
It is.
It's going to be August 22nd, 8 p.m. We're going to see a rematch between Scott Seiver and Phil Hellmuth. This is going to be for $800,000 each. I can't believe, honestly, like when Brent told me about high stakes duel, I guess it was probably close to 2 years ago now when they first launched it. And he was telling me how the structure was going to work and, the stakes were going to continue to increase, yada, yada, yada. I was just like, no fucking way. It's a heads up, sit and go turbo
Yeah.
with like way too much fucking money on the line where nobody's more than a 2 or 3% favorite. This thing's never going to get to like $1 million match. It's just not. And now here we are.
1.6.
1.6 up for grabs. This is a rematch. I'll be interested to see how it works because if Hellmuth wins, he can just quit and be rich. And that's a good place to be.
It's already rich.
Richer.
What's the glory?
Yeah, richer, I guess. But he could also just stay and kind of like continue to free roll. And I think he gets to, well, first Scott would have the option to rematch.
Wait, so would it double?
Yeah. Yeah. So
No
then,
chance it gets there.
I mean, wait, did it double from last time? Did
Yeah.
it go from 4 to 8?
It went from 8 to 16.
No. It's I think it's 1.6 total.
Yeah.
So it's 800 each.
Right.
But was it 400 before? Or
Yeah,
was
it was 800 total
before?
last time.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
So then the
doubled.
next match would be like 1.6 each if they keep up with that structure.
No shot. That's not happening.
I don't think so either.
No.
It's just like double or nothing until you
Yeah,
eventually.
until
But the funny
what?
part is,
Like, how far
well,
does
so the
it
funny
go?
part is, if
Yeah.
they do continue with that structure, it's possible for it to keep happening. All that happens is that there becomes a broader market that's invested in the match.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Like Hellmuth and Scott are almost certain to have the same amount of money at risk, no matter how many times they play.
Yeah.
True.
So the prize pool can continue to grow, and all that happens is more and more investors are picking a side to bet on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fascinating.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it actually kind of creates a market where instead of them ponying up, you could just create a betting market where, but it's not as interesting to showcase to the consumer, I guess. But like, say that they just want to play for 100K each always,
Yeah.
and PokerGo wants to continually up the prize pool. They could just create a betting market where you could buy into either side until the prize pool creates,
Gets to where-
X amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think the illusion that they're both ponying up 800K, even though that's never the case,
Right.
is probably just like good for TV and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Seiver loses, he'll have the option to rematch again, which I assume he'll always take, especially because I don't think he'll ever have difficulty raising more funds, and he'll probably just keep his buy-in the same. That's how tournaments work. Hellmuth would have the option to quit, I believe, in which case it would just reset and go back to a 100K match. If Seiver wins, I don't know how this works then. Hellmuth would then have the option to rematch, I guess, in which case it would probably just double the stakes. But if Hellmuth refuses, does it then reset to the 100K level, or does it stay as is and the next challenger puts up 1.6? Because if so, that's shitty for Scott,
Yeah.
because you have to win 3 matches before you can quit, which means now,
No, that's a good question.
right, like, so maybe Ivy's the next challenger, and now Scott just has to play these giga high stakes versus someone who's not Phil
It's
Hellmuth
just
that
like
stinks.
K-Rab.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, it's just like Jason Kuhn's been chomping at the bit to get in the high stakes heads up arena. Oh, hey, Scott, guess what? Here's your next challenger.
Yeah.
You got him for 3 fucking matches.
Yeah.
If you want it, and you're gonna have to play for
The stakes are
5
up to
million when
8
it's all said and done.
million.
It's tough because like 2 things happen. 1, he's not allowed to leave the arena, but 2, now it does become more difficult for him to crowdsource, right? Like if the next challenger is like I don't know who's like a heads up crusher.
K-Rab.
Yeah, sure, K-Rab. If K-Rab's the next crusher, it's not gonna, and they have to play for 1.6 each. It's gonna be a hell of a lot easier for K-Rab to sell than Scott.
Yes.
And it's like, well, then what does PokerGo do?
Right.
So I would imagine that it probably resets. Because if I've learned anything about the way that they've structured this, the idea is that as the stakes rise, the competition stays the same or only increases slightly.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't really want it. There's no incentive for somebody to get to like the 800K level or the $1.6 million level and be taking on a new challenger that isn't some sort of giga whale.
Right.
Right? You would just want to leave the arena
These are
if at
some
all possible.
questions we can ask Mr. Brent Hanks.
That's
on
true. We
Monday.
will be joined Monday. I'm going to say this tentatively because Brent is very good at forgetting.
Well, we'll make it true so he has to be here.
Make
Right.
it so then when he doesn't, if he does,
We shame him.
forget, then
Shame,
everyone in our
shame,
chat and we will shame him.
Yes. Okay. So everybody clip this part out starting now. Monday, August 8th. Monday, August 8th. Brent Hanks from PokerGo's No Gamble, No Future will be joining us here live in
the
studio,
studio. That's
in
right.
the flesh, to talk about all things. All things.
PokerGo,
All things,
all
really.
things,
No,
yeah.
honestly, like, we're going to
Really
talk
all
very little PokerGo.
Yeah.
I've known Brent since 2004. We are just going probably to embarrass the shit out of him. Talk about all the nasty things that he's done behind the scenes that nobody knows about.
The tea.
He once threw $100 bill in a
he's
fire.
never coming on.
Wow.
He threw $100 bill in a fire around 2 or 3 people that $100 meant the absolute world to, one of which dove into the fire.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a bonfire. He safely
What kind of fire was it?
just,
This is like
we
a
were
little
out back.
Little fire pit,
Little
in
fire
the
pit.
backyard.
Okay.
He was that rich though. We called him TMM Brent.
Yeah, too much money.
Too much money.
Too much
Brent.
money. Yeah, he also once ordered a $2,000 sound system off of eBay and never picked it up from the
He was
post
just
office.
crushing?
Oh yeah, he was mashing online poker pre-Black Friday. He was also a risk taker. We'll get into it on Monday. You guys will all hear it after you put that clip out and shame the shit out of him into showing up. Jeff Platt's also going to come on at another time. He's in Florida right now, so we weren't able to get him.
I am excited to ask him about how my Raya application is going. Kidding, I haven't applied, but
Look, I have a lot to ask Brent or to ask Jeff. I want to know how he got his blue check mark. I want to know
Right.
how he got onto Raya.
yeah,
I
how did
wanna
he do
know-
all this stuff? He must know someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
we
mean,
need
It's all about
to-
networking.
Yeah, we got to find out who he knows, and then we need to get to know that person.
yeah, this
Yeah.
fucking guy just like comes in on the scene and is somehow bigger than everybody.
Yeah.
He's larger than life.
He is.
Who the fuck appointed this guy the head of poker?
Whoever he knows.
Please stand up for me, please.
I mean, I'm trying to get on Raya. I'll take a trip to LA. I'll match with, Bradley Cooper.
Sure. You're going to get on that location on demand type of dating.
What's that mean?
Well, where you don't date locally.
Uh-huh.
You curate dates all across the country and you
Oh,
have them
okay.
fly you in, wine you, and
I didn't
dine
know that
you.
was an option.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. This is a thing.
Where
this is
could
how
I-
you recruit a
wow,
husband.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah,
Wow.
you really put them through the ringer of putting in the effort,
Yeah.
and then you forget to actually vet them because you're so bedazzled,
Yeah.
swept up by
Yeah.
the
I
effort
believe
that they
call
put
it
in.
love bombing.
Yeah, you're swooning, if you will.
I will not be love bombed.
So if you
Mm,
match with
Bradley?
Bradley Cooper
Is he married?
and Ryan
Ryan
Gosling,
Gosling?
which one do you choose?
Ryan.
Ryan?
aren't they both married?
No.
Hmm?
I don't think so.
In your mind, they're not.
Right.
I think Ryan.
Would you be a part of a thruple with either one of them?
Yeah, because their girlfriend's probably really hot.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah. Snap.
Sure,
Snap call.
sure.
I'm in.
What if
All right, so
what if they're
Ryan
really
Gosling,
hot?
if you're listening,
What if their girlfriend's really hot but also like really annoying?
Annoying, okay. If she's mean, maybe.
Would you be
no.
a part of the throuple and then try to gaslight your way into a couple?
I'm afraid that it might be what would happen, whether I intend for it to happen
Right.
or not.
Right. This is your toxic trait.
Yes, I just tend to be a little competitive
Right.
with my man.
It's those high T levels. Really gets
Yeah.
the juices flowing for you.
But I don't know. I would try to make it work.
Sure.
But yeah, that might
Well, because
happen.
the prize is,
It's worth it.
Bradley Gosling.
Bradley Gosling.
Yeah, I would pick. I think
Would you
I'd
be in
pick-
a thruple with Bradley Cooper and Ryan
Of
Gosling?
course. Is that even a question?
Well,
But do they have to do stuff?
no,
Are they doing
no.
stuff?
I mean, no.
Okay, then yes.
But you have to entertain them both at the same time.
Fine. Kidding me?
The male female threesome's always like been so off-putting in my head. Like I feel like it's not,
I think it's probably off-putting for a lot of guys.
but I would think it would be off-putting for women too, even though I don't know why. I
No,
think
because
that.
I have that. Like, I've been in a situation like this before, and with another woman, and I get a little too like. I don't know. I just like get a little too competitive.
It
Like,
turns into a wrestling match
it
where she's like
turns into, like, a
throwing the other girl off the
performance.
guy.
Yeah, no. It's like I'm
Locks
like
her in the bathroom.
trying to like outdo the other. It's just like too much.
Right. It's very
I can't-
performative.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's,
I will say in a devil's three-way, I doubt that would be the case with like two dudes and a girl. There
Yeah,
would be
well,
no
I would
performance.
try and like show up the guy if he was hooking up with the other guy.
Sure.
Get off of him.
I'm right here.
Hello.
Oh man, our tangents. Bigger news, or I guess the main piece of news today. WSOP. They heard you, Pads. They were listening. They said, you want a fall series? I have a fall series for you. It won't be live, but it will be global. WSOP Online announced that between August 14th and September 27th, they'll be running 33 bracelet events on GG Poker. Simultaneously, between September 11th and I believe October 16th, WSOP.com in the States will also be running online bracelet events. So we have between the two, well, really between the 5, because Michigan and Pennsylvania are segregated. So they'll also be running bracelet events simultaneously.
Like 8 events or something. 8 bracelet events.
80.
Those two.
Oh, 8. 8 for them.
8
yeah.
for
but total, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 70 bracelet events all told.
That's a lot.
Wait, 70? No.
Between the 4 sites, GG, WSOP.com, Nevada, New Jersey, WSOP.com, PA, WSOP.com, Michigan.
Might be time for a little tri-state area trip.
Well, you're not going to want to leave Nevada to go to PA or Michigan unless you just want to play small, softer fields.
Bracelet hunting.
Oh,
Because
it's going to be all at the same time.
It's all at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many do you think Corey will win? 3, 4?
I'll promise you this. I will set the line at bracelet final tables for Corgasm at 3.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a good line.
Especially if he's in Michigan, where the fields are smaller.
I'm certain he will be in Michigan. He's there right now, and he is fucking mopping up.
Oh.
He's just like playing 10-20 every day online, just crushing. Who knew, man? This kid really became he's the quietest crusher too.
He is.
That's the thing. We want to get him on the podcast. He just refuses to talk. Honestly, we could have him on as an ornament. Just like sit him in the 2-shot.
Look at this shiny thing over here that just prints money.
Look at this beautiful bearded man who just never fucking loses and just wins.
He has a beard?
Yeah, he is
like
he is,
my beard.
Yeah, scruff,
stubble, scruff,
scruff, if you will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scruff, McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Wow.
What just happened?
Like, what the fuck?
Isn't it wild?
Just have an aneurysm?
Stroking out over here.
You're stroking
Guapo.
out.
Guapo, please search Scruff McGruff, the crime dog, and show them the commercial that I'm referencing.
Oh, man.
Isn't it
Stroking
wild that I memorized that commercial?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do, like, why was a Chicago, Illinois crime watchdog on my national television as a child? Scruff, McGruff,
I didn't
Chicago,
know he was
Illinois.
just Chicago.
60652.
What the hell?
Search it on YouTube. Yeah, that's good.
You don't know
You don't know Scruff McGruff?
You not know Scruff McGruff?
Why would I know what that is?
He's the crime dog.
Oh my God.
There were commercials for.
Yeah.
See if you can find the commercial, Guapo. It should be on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean,
Shout out to Jeremiah in the chat. He says the more bracelets, the better. I will say that I am happy. So I think while we're putting a pin in the Scruff McGruff,
I actually was missing the online. I love the online bracelet series.
should we all commit to streaming some?
Yeah.
I
would be
think
down.
maybe. There we go. Here we go. Please.
I mean, this looks like it's from the 1950s. Why would I know what this is?
Hey, here's a shortcut. Not down there, Square. I don't think it's safe.
Why are they
Come
moving
on,
so
coast is
much?
clear. I'm not taking a chance, Lance. Oh no. Well, hello, Dogface. Come to give us your sneakers.
Uh-oh. Trouble again, Scruff. What are you gonna do now?
What are you gonna do now?
My new comic activity book,
That's
More
Rudy.
Adventures with Scruff. You'll find out what you can do about bullies, drugs, and guns.
Can I be hero again?
You'll see.
They should
You'll
bring
see
this
lots
back.
of games.
oh yeah, for
Well, you're a
sure.
free
This shaped
copy
my
of new
childhood.
Comic activity book, right? Scruff, McGruff, Chicago, Illinois.
60652. I fucking nailed it. How did I never get that book?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
knew the jingle. How did I never send the mail? You had to send a letter to Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
He's stroking out again.
And they
He's stroking out again.
and they sent you that pamphlet in
Yeah.
the mail. I can't believe I never did it. I should have
It's
that
unbelievable
pamphlet.
you don't have the pamphlet.
Do you think if we sent that letter right now,
We would get
Yes.
it. No, that would end up. God knows what that.
I think we should send it.
You should send it.
I think we should send it.
Follow your dreams.
I'm going to text my assistant and say, hey, I need you to pen a letter. I need you to pen a letter.
Scruff McGruff.
Care of.
Can you please?
Care of Scruff McGruff.
You have to do it in the voice, though, Stuart.
Chicago, Illinois, 60652. Stroking
So
out
this was
again.
a TV show?
No.
This was just
Somehow
a
Smokey
It was a
commercial?
commercial.
Somehow Smokey the Bear is going to end
Only
up with
you can prevent
He's gonna end up with the
forest
That
letter.
always scared me, that one. And
So you know
Okay,
Smokey
so
the
you
Bear.
know
I know
Smokey.
that.
So they're on the same
only you
level.
can prevent it. But
Right.
whenever it would come up on the TV, I would have to quickly change the channel because I was like, oh my God, he's so scary.
What the fuck?
Like, it was so scary. Like, only you can prevent wildfires. And I'm
Only
like,
you.
I don't know. He just seemed so creepy to me.
I had an aspect about me as a kid that I hated, like, really. I didn't hate. It made me uncomfortable to you know, like the you know, like the father figure type that was just like overbearing and yelled a lot, like the little league dad.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So my dad
You're talking about my dad.
yes, in that regard. But my dad was like very abusive to my mom, but like never hit my sister or I. He just yelled a lot. And
Yeah.
like that yelling just like would lock me up, right?
For sure.
So it carried over into other like male figures. I'll never forget this. I was 16 at the gym, and there was this guy Eugene that always lifted down there. He used to run track, and now he was a part of the football team. He might have been a coach or something like that. And he like worked out with all the kids, trying to get them stronger, teaching them what to do, yada yada. But he was a fucking clown. This guy did nothing but fuck off in the gym 99% of the time. And one day, just one single day, he was filming the reps of the guys that he was working with and decided that specific moment was going to be the time that everybody had to take the gym seriously. And of course, I was fucking off and did something or said something like they were squatting and I made a farting noise or something like that. And he like got nose to nose in my face and I crumbled. Like it shut me down to a degree where I was just like, I literally wanted to cry.
I know.
And the
I know
Smokey
that
the Bear
feeling.
commercial reminds me of that. Like
Really?
he's
He's
this
not even
overbearing,
yelling.
like only you can prevent forest
I
fires.
just
Like
felt
fuck
like-
you, guy.
It made me feel like he was gonna start a fire in my room. Like it was so threatening sounding. I
Right.
hate it. But my mom had, I think I got it from my mom being afraid of certain jingles because she had it with the Empire commercial, the 800-588-2300 Empire today. You know that one? But for her, it was when they said today.
The carpet commercial you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and she's like, as soon as she heard that coming on, oh my gosh, turn it off, because she hated when he said today. Like she was like so afraid of it.
It's a random thing to be afraid of.
And I would like, she'd turn it off, and then I would go like today, and she'd stop it, don't say that. She's like so afraid of that one word.
Oh man, I don't know why I remember this. I must have been 3, maybe 4 at the oldest. And there was like one of these after school commercials on there that was talking about weed, and it ended with you in a grave. And like a tombstone and the grave, like if you smoked weed you would die kind of thing, and it just said like rip so and so and gave like a date.
Got too high.
And we would watch these commercials all the time during daytime TV, like whatever the fuck my mom was watching, like Sally Jesse Raphael or whatever, and this commercial would come on a lot, and I was just learning how to read. So I was probably I had to be like 2 or 3 years old. I was literally just learning how to read
at 2 or 3.
I was pretty young when I first started to tell time and read.
Guy reading it.
I mean,
Two-
yeah, come
he's
on.
two.
I
He's
was
reading
for
novels.
sure
Yeah,
younger
with
than
the
4
program.
because that's when my parents got divorced and they were still together. So
I
yeah,
could read
somewhere.
at 6 months old, so
Okay. This wasn't a subtle flex. I don't know what a common age to read is. I've
Probably
literally
like
no clue.
5 or 6 when you start going
yeah.
to school.
No
Probably
way.
5. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Of course.
They don't teach you how to read in first grade.
Yes, they do.
They do.
You have reading class, but like you're already comprehensive enough to like be able to look at a pamphlet with 3 words on it and pronounce them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, like 5.
Okay, preschool was. I started going to preschool when I was 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, so somewhere between 2 and 4, and this commercial pops up, and the tombstone comes up. The man just has this look on his face like, fuck you, I didn't learn how to read till I was 7.
Still don't know how to read. Conrad and I are gonna go hooked on phonics over here.
Hooked on phonics worked for me. This commercial would pop up, and at the end, this tombstone would come up, and it would say R.I.P. so and so or whatever. And obviously, I couldn't read the name or that anything thereafter, but the 3 letters I could read. And for whatever reason, I didn't pronounce it as rip. I said rape, and my mom lost it. She's like, "What? What did you say?" I go, "Rape," and she's like, "What do you? Did that happen? Did somebody touch you? Who touched you? What's going on?" And it's like she's just like losing her mind with all this trauma, and I'm just like, I'm just reading what's on the fucking TV. She's like, "It's rip. It's rip. Okay, that's an I. R.I.P. Rip." I'm like, "Okay, it's rip." That memory like sticks out of my head.
I have that too when
So
I was
vividly.
singing "Rape Me" by Nirvana.
Oh, sure.
Don't sing that. Cannot sing that, but of course, then that would make me sing it more.
Right.
So that I'm just screaming around the house, "Rape Me" by
And you had no
Nirvana.
idea what it meant, obviously. Right? You would think that the better way of handling that, instead of saying like, "Don't say that," is like, "This is what that means."
Yeah.
Don't say that.
I know, but it's like maybe that's traumatizing to teach a child what
Yeah,
rape
you
is.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think you need to get into the nuances of it. I think
It just
like
means like this is a
harmful
what
act.
would you say?
Like this is a very harmful
that
act.
someone does to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then your kid might think, oh, that means that if someone like pushes someone, they're raping
No,
them.
no,
So
no.
then at school, someone pushes someone and goes, "You're raping him."
Yeah.
This is like.
Well, they'll learn other lessons that way.
Then
No,
the teacher will tell them.
I would say that this is like a harmful act, akin. Well, I don't want to say akin to murder, but like I would try to emphasize that it's at that level of seriousness,
Yeah.
so that they so that they stop using the
Yeah,
word.
that seems good.
But
Instead, it just gets this, "Oh my gosh, don't say that," and then you're like, "Well, I'm gonna keep saying it."
it's like the first time you swear.
Yeah.
Like, bitch. Like, don't you dare! I'll wash your mouth out with soap.
Yeah.
Okay, bitch.
You know
bitch,
what?
bitch, bitch.
My family had such a like reaction to me cursing that it made me embarrassed that I didn't do it because they were like, "Oh, it's so cute. She's
Same.
like trying to be like
Same.
us," and then I was like, "Oh my god, like that's so rude." So then I just like wouldn't do it.
I didn't swear in front of an adult until I was in my 30s. My grandmother died without ever hearing me swear, I think. Like I just, when I was young, it was my mom like made a joke of it, and I was like, I'm not your fucking
Yeah,
clown.
exactly.
I would curse so hard in my head and behind closed doors, but like in front of her, like, no, I'm not giving you this.
Because they would laugh and they'd be so cute. And
Yeah, and like they try to pry it out of you,
I'm
and I'm
being
just
serious.
like you sound like you're talking to me, talking to a dog, trying to get the dog to do something.
Right.
I'm out on this.
Right.
I'm not doing it. And then that like carried over to, as I realized what a train wreck my mom was, when I was in front of other adults, I always felt like I had to be on my best behavior times 10 because they knew that I came from her. It was just like, please don't shun me because of things that my mother has done. So I'll just always be like overly polite, my P's and Q's were just like spot on through high school. And then like, you know, as I got to sports in college and stuff like that, it's like, well, I'm never going to swear at a coach. You just can't do that.
No.
And like, so like most of the adults you're surrounded by are coaches and professors. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to swear in front of them. Finally, it took me like getting a podcast in my 30s to just be like, hey, I'm the adult now. I could say what I want.
Yeah.
And this is actually, I wish I could go back to not
Now
swearing.
you just have a foul mouth.
Yeah, it's unnecessary too.
Yeah, it is.
I wish I was a little bit more thoughtful about it so that I
It's
could,
more meaningful, you know, if you don't use
For
it
a
as
while,
much.
I was very intentional about it. Like, I would just be like, okay, there's a big comedic get here by utilizing a curse word properly in this sentence. Or there's a big, like, attention grabbing moment if I emphasize it with
Never
fuck.
broken it down to this degree.
I thought a lot about it
Wow.
because I think like the way that you curse or like how you present yourself in the way that you speak is going to very clearly define you to people who don't know you very well.
Yeah.
So like when I go back to like that idea of 3 layers of like, this is how I present just physically. When you look at me, this is how I present when I open my mouth. And this is how I present to people who really know me. I was very critical of that middle level of like, this is like I want to be thought of as, or I want to be reflective of what my intellect is whenever I speak. So I want to be very mindful of how I speak and the words that I choose, and I don't want to just like, be the guy I am in the locker room.
Exhausting.
It's like PG-13 movies.
Kind of, yeah.
Right? So it's like you get one F word in a PG-13 movie.
Right.
And so like they got to use it the most dramatic way.
Right, exactly.
The best part of like, you get that one shot. So.
Yeah, I was just being very cognizant of like, I don't want to be the guy that I am in the locker room, because the guys in the locker room I share a certain bond with and they get to know me. I have a certain level of freedom around them where they'll give me a pass for speaking out of turn or speaking loosely or whatever. And honestly, I should get back to it, because in my head, when we started the podcast, it was kind of like leading a little bit more with that persona, right? Like, okay, here's the stripped down version. I'm not going to be super mindful of choosing my words.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk out of pocket a little bit, because you guys, as my audience, are going to give me the freedom to do so.
Yeah.
But the more I do it, the more I realize like that freedom doesn't fucking exist. And it's like, you have to be really mindful of the way that you talk. And like even yesterday, we kind of broke down the whole Hustler situation, and I thought we were like pretty fair about it, but I used I was anecdotal in some instances.
Yeah.
I used a little hyperbole, like exaggerated a couple points and things like that. And Ryan sent me like a novel review this morning.
Yeah, like hyperbole and sarcasm just don't tend to.
Well, they don't translate it around people that don't know you well.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
And
I just said I started reading at 6 months old, and people thought I was serious.
Correct. Right. And like, Ryan sends me this big long review of like basically our breakdown yesterday. It was all very fair. He was right. Like I said, Andy played the show once. Obviously, I was exaggerating, but maybe that wasn't that obvious. He's like, he actually played 20 times, and the
It's
people.
a bit of a discrepancy.
Yeah, and it was like
Once 20.
Well, sure, but like whatever. The point is like he's not a Friday regular.
Yeah.
You could get the situation on there instead. Inside joke, which is great. Those are always great for a big audience.
Yeah.
But he was basically going through like point by point, and it's just like, man, we were just shooting the shit. Like, I wasn't putting that much thought into anything outside of the actual thing that was revolving around the guarantee.
Yeah.
Which, that actual conversation was relevant and important, and that was where most of his feedback came from, which was great. It gave me a lot more insight as to what was happening. Like, him and Nick are very invested in the Hustler brand, even if they are separate as a live stream. And
well, that part was more like because Nick added you or whatever to clarify that they had nothing to do with it, and then so it's just sort of confusing. Like,
yeah, I guess that's the thing that doesn't translate well to the audience, is when we go from running a bit to speaking relatively seriously on a topic.
Yeah,
it's like, well, the Hustler pulling their guarantee, that's a serious topic, and we're going to dig into like why this is fucking terrible for business, and how they chose to handle it thereafter. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. And, I think that we were reasonably fair, and I would think that Ryan agrees, and everything else. The people who did right got their kudos. The actions that were poor to the community, like, got scrutinized, whatever. But, whenever we dive into the all-star stream of Hustler Live, like, this isn't a big deal. Like, nobody's ever reviewed an all-star game in a very serious, critical manner, right? It's just like, yeah, we're going to we're going to exaggerate some points. We're going to throw some shade here and there. We're going to, big up Wesley for saying poker's easy. And like,
he has been experiencing a lot of poker is not easy.
Which is great. And he's just as transparent about that too. I think Wesley's a fucking G.
Yeah.
Like, he's everything that nobody wants to be under the microscope. And for him, it's just like, he's just kind of learning the ropes and being honest about it along the way with a lot of arrogance and a lot of humility. And I think that those things parallel pretty well together. But yeah, I mean, bring this full circle to like being mindful of like the way that we present. Part of me doesn't want to change a thing, because this is easy. Showing up 5 days a week and having these conversations is so easy. But I worry that bigger picture, it doesn't translate well to growth
Yeah.
to advertisements to
Right.
to putting on a value add show instead of an entertainment show. Particularly if like when we're speaking seriously of something, it doesn't convey. Or I guess more specifically, when we're joking about something, it doesn't convey.
It's probably more likely to be the other case that we're joking or not being that serious and people take it literally or
like
something.
if the pushback yesterday was that we should have taken monkeypox more seriously, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll accept that, but I'll agree to disagree, but I'll be mindful of your criticism.
Right.
But if the pushback is like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about with monkeypox, it's like, yeah, obviously that was the bit. Like, how is that not obvious that that's the bit?
Yeah.
We're continually making light of something that we clearly aren't very informed on.
Right.
And that'll tend to always be the case for whatever is like hot in the news today, tomorrow, or the next day.
Something
Or
comes
things
out
that we're just
today,
not
we
experts
haven't,
on.
we haven't become experts on
None
it
of us
overnight.
are. None
we
of
don't
us are
want to be expert on
doctors,
things.
None of us are, infectious disease.
But like that's the thing is we don't want to be experts on things, right? Like we
This
want
is
to be able
an
to
entertainment show.
Except for poker.
right, which is why we'll frame it around when important things happen in poker. That will be the serious chunk of the show,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just like airing out things that I've been thinking about structurally for the show on air. But I do think it's something that like we need to be considerate of.
Yeah.
Especially with how diverse having 6 voices at a time are. I noticed it the most, like, I think with the Espen show, where it's like, it's very clear that we all know each other well enough that we're having banter back and forth. But I think a lot of that translated to the audience of like, oh, this guy is an idiot about this thing, or her response there is such an asshole take, or whatever. It's just like, like it's definitely getting lost on the audience that like we're all just having a good time with each other,
Right.
and you get to kind of peer in,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird thing. I think maybe there's a tendency for some people to place too much authority in our voices when it's like, this is clearly an entertainment show. We're not.
I think it happens specifically to me a lot. I think that people think that every take I have, I believe to be like not just a hot take, but like facts and truths. And it's like, I don't know what about the way that I speak makes it come off so authoritative, but like, I don't believe in I don't believe to 100% certainty in literally anything that I've ever said. Like, I am not that hard-headed.
Very certain.
I have self-confidence.
Yeah, maybe it's,
in like my framework of thinking and how I conclude things, and I have self-confidence in a lot of the things that I've learned throughout the years, but not unwavering.
Yeah.
If you show me somebody who knows more and they have like me
about snakes.
Sure. And honestly, like whatever. I don't want to get into it. If you had challenged it in the moment the way you did yesterday, I would have just deferred to you. But that wasn't what was happening. Like, we were running a bit. I was joking that your snake was going to eat you, and you were dismissing me through like facts. And it's like, well, I'm just going to keep running the bit. And now it's turned into this big thing of like, you fucking idiot. You don't know that snakes grow. Like, yes, I know. I get it.
Now you know.
Yes, you got me.
I'm here to
okay,
educate, you know?
You fucking got me.
Educate.
Christ. All right, let's wrap. Just a quick reminder. I meant to bring it up earlier, and I deviated off of it, but we sold another seat today to the September Academy, so we have 3 seats remaining, September 8th to the 11th. This is Poker Out Loud style, so if you guys are interested, what we'll be presenting to you is day 1 and day 3 are full days of theory discussion. We try to outline all of the basic principles of game theory. It's not a memorization course. It's not a how-to course. It's much more of leaning into what we believe in at our core, which is root cause analysis. So really, we spend 2 days basically defining why it is you do what you do at the table. Why you should be betting, why you should be check raising, why you should be opening these hands but not these hands, etc. So it really is a top-down approach from a very broad perspective of game theory principles. The actual gameplay itself, you'll be playing 9-handed, and we'll challenge you at every decision point to basically tell us in short order why you're about to do what it is that you do. So our job is to teach you that why. Your job is then to internalize that why and be able to communicate it to us in real time. The actual gameplay footage will be recorded with a coach overseeing it, interjecting his thoughts along the way. You'll have that game footage forever to go back, review, run the sims on the spots, see how close you got it in real time. And I'll also probably start doing some on second thoughts with the Academy footage. I really think on second thoughts like one of our best products, so I would like to do some free stuff for YouTube, and that seems like a good place to marry the two worlds together. So if you're interested in that, head to academy.solveforwhy.io. 3 seats remaining. You can sign up at any time. We'll be back on Monday. As I mentioned, very special guest Brent Hanks will be in studio.
P. Hanks 11.
Looking forward to it. Brian and I leave next Wednesday.
Tuesday. Oh, I leave Tuesday.
Well, we'll have a Tuesday show. We're going to pre-record Tuesday show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Special Tuesday show.
Special Tuesday show.
It's
I have to pay the piper. So I will be in full garb.
Full makeup.
I'm excited for it. I'm going to be a beautiful woman. I'm confident.
You want, actually, he asked if you would like wigs and outfits too, or just the makeup?
Not outfit.
Maybe a wig?
Yeah. I mean, bald is beautiful.
Are you open to a wig? We'll see what he has. And
look, this is on you. I lost the bet. Lesson for the kids out there: don't lose prop bets. It's bad. But also, whatever. You do your worst.
Right.
I'm not wearing the outfit. I did not agree to the outfit.
All right, no outfit.
I'm not going to go full drag, but
wig maybe.
Happy. I mean, if I look beautiful, bald, and made up, God bless.
It's going to be scary regardless. I might be scarier without the wig.
Scary to you. I'm going to have a whole host of new people in my DMs by the time Tuesday's over. I'm going to look fucking good. I'm sure of that.
Maybe you'll change like your dating app profile to what you look like that day.
If that doesn't attract the sexy girls in Las Vegas, I don't know what will. I'm not sure what's going to happen with next week's show. Brian and I are out of town Friday through Sunday. So
you guys, it's just going to be me solo talking to a camera for an hour and a half straight.
That's a possibility. So I'm probably not going to leave until Tuesday night. So we should be able to pre-record a Wednesday show also. But you may have to cover Thursday and Friday.
All right.
Conrad may be back. So that could be fun, I suppose.
Man. The Melissa and Conrad
I'll
show.
think about if there's anyone I can bring on.
Yeah, that'd be great. Very good time, obviously, for a guest. And a great time for you to just be in the fucking hot seat for 2 days. See how it feels.
Oh, yeah.
Try to really navigate this.
I mean, even just with 3 people, I'm getting way more criticism than with 6.
Oh,
because it's, the spotlight's a little more, I'm like, oh my God.
Talking a lot's
so rude. I'm like, oh my God, my feelings are kind of hurt. Just kidding.
Before you leave, maybe log out of your Twitter.
Yeah, that's
computer.
No.
That's a good friend right there.
No.
That is a good friend right there.
You got him good ones. He doesn't, need a whole weekend of torture.
I'll go on your YouTube account and comment on like weird stuff.
Sure. Maybe it'll just be
on some guy's mukbang. This is so sexy.
Maybe you and Rudy can have a real deep dive.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be real responsive.
I'll do like my own little variety show by myself.
I'm open to testing
outfits.
anything. I think we're at that point now where it's clear we've solidified our audience. We're interested in growth.
Maybe I'll do a live Hinge date on.
Wow.
That would be amazing.
That would be incredible.
Oh, man.
Like,
that would be so funny.
Honestly, if you match with somebody that you're genuinely interested in and he agreed to that, he might be a fucking keeper.
The one.
Yeah.
Or he might be a psychopath. In any event, we'll get to watch it unfold live on the air.
Yeah, and then the chat can let me know what they think.
I'm so into this idea.
They have my best interests at heart. They let
next
me know
Friday,
when I'm wrong.
love
They
it.
let me know when I'm right. They let me know when my outfit looks good.
Yeah.
So they'll let me know if my date
listen,
is
if you
good.
want to do this next Friday, I think that this is the best idea that you've ever had.
If I find someone, I actually will.
Okay. Perfect. Lock it in. We'll be back Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll see. I will be in full makeup on Tuesday, so you guys have that to look forward to. Until then, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys at noon on Monday.
Peace.